Adapting to climate change, strategies for coastal communities. Adapting to climate change, strategies for coastal communities. These communities, often heavily reliant on their proximity to the ocean for livelihoods and cultural heritage, find themselves at the forefront of the battle against the effects of a warming planet. To secure their future, they must adopt comprehensive strategies that encompass both short-term responses and long-term resilience-building measures. Understanding the challenges. Coastal communities are uniquely vulnerable to the impacts of climate change due to their exposure to rising sea levels and extreme weather events. With over half of the global population living within 100 kilometers of a coastline, the stakes are high. Rising sea levels can lead to coastal erosion, inundation, and loss of valuable land, threatening homes, infrastructure, and economic activities. The increased frequency and intensity of storms, fueled by warmer ocean waters, can cause devastating flooding, property damage, and loss of life. Changing precipitation patterns can also affect the availability of freshwater resources, further complicating matters for these communities. Short-term adaptation strategies. In the face of immediate threats posed by climate change, coastal communities must embrace a range of short-term adaptation strategies to safeguard their residents and assets. These strategies include: 1. Early warning systems. Developing effective early warning systems can help communities respond to rapidly changing weather conditions and evacuate residents in advance of storms or floods. These systems rely on meteorological data and communication networks to ensure that timely alerts reach those in danger. 2. Infrastructure upgrades. Strengthening infrastructure to withstand extreme weather events is crucial. This might involve reinforcing buildings, constructing seawalls or levees, and elevating critical infrastructure like roads and power lines above potential flood levels. 3. Natural barriers. Incorporating natural solutions, such as mangrove forests, sand dunes, and wetlands, can act as protective barriers against storm surges and erosion. These natural features provide a buffer zone and help maintain the integrity of the coastline. 4. Community training and education. Educating residents about climate change risks and necessary precautions can empower them to respond effectively during emergencies. Training programs can cover skills like first aid, disaster response, and evacuation procedures. Long-term resilience building strategies. While short-term strategies are essential for immediate protection, long-term resilience building measures are equally crucial to ensure the sustained viability of coastal communities. These strategies involve holistic approaches that address the root causes of vulnerability and integrate climate adaptation into community planning and development. Some long-term strategies include: 1. Land use planning. Developing and enforcing zoning regulations that restrict construction in high-risk areas can prevent further vulnerability. Land use planning should prioritize locating essential infrastructure and housing away from flood-prone zones. 3. Climate-resilient agriculture and fisheries. Coastal communities often depend on agriculture and fisheries for their livelihoods. Promoting climate-resilient farming practices and sustainable fishing methods can help maintain food security even in the face of changing climate conditions. 4. Managed retreat. In some cases, relocating communities away from high-risk areas might be the most viable option. Managed retreat involves strategic relocation while preserving cultural heritage and maintaining community cohesion. 5. International cooperation. Climate change knows no borders, and many coastal challenges are global in nature. Collaborative efforts between nations can lead to shared solutions, such as research sharing, joint disaster response exercises, and funding for adaptation projects. Innovations in coastal adaptation. In recent years, innovative technologies and approaches have emerged to support coastal communities in their adaptation efforts. These innovations leverage science, engineering, and community engagement to provide effective solutions. 1. Climate-resilient infrastructure design. Engineers are developing adaptive infrastructure that responds to changing conditions. Floating buildings, for instance, can rise with floodwaters, minimizing damage. 3. Green infrastructure. Integrating natural features into urban design, such as green roofs and permeable pavement, can manage stormwater, reduce flooding, and improve air quality. 4. Community-based adaptation. Including local communities in the design and implementation of adaptation strategies ensures that solutions are contextually relevant and sustainable. Challenges and the way forward. Despite the progress made in developing adaptation strategies, challenges remain. Funding limitations, lack of political will, and competing development priorities can hinder the implementation of effective measures. Additionally, the complex and interconnected nature of coastal ecosystems requires a holistic approach that considers both human and natural factors. To overcome these challenges, governments, NGOs, researchers, and communities must work collaboratively. Empowering local communities. A critical aspect of successful adaptation is empowering local communities to take ownership of their resilience-building efforts. Community engagement ensures that adaptation strategies are tailored to the unique needs, cultures, and vulnerabilities of each coastal area. Here are some ways to empower local communities. 1. Traditional knowledge integration. Indigenous and local knowledge can provide invaluable insights into historical climate patterns, ecosystem dynamics, and sustainable practices. Integrating traditional knowledge into adaptation strategies can enhance their effectiveness and cultural appropriateness. 2. Participatory planning. Involve community members in the planning and decision-making processes. Participatory workshops, town hall meetings, and focus groups can facilitate meaningful discussions and allow residents to contribute their ideas and concerns. 3. Capacity building. Provide training and resources that equip local residents with the skills needed to implement and manage adaptation measures. This could include training in construction techniques, disaster response, and ecosystem management. 4. Local leadership. Empower local leaders to drive adaptation efforts. These leaders often have a deep understanding of their community's needs and are better positioned to rally support and facilitate collaboration. 5. Communication networks. Establish reliable communication networks that connect community members, local authorities, and relevant organizations. Effective communication is essential during emergencies and for disseminating important information. Case studies in coastal adaptation.